To get into the war in Ukraine. Now, under your administration, there was world peace. We didn't have all this chaos in the world. Now it seems like it's escalating even to Crimea is even in the question. You've said before on social media and at speeches that you have a solution, and you said, hey, this can be negotiated. How do we do that?
Well, first of all, it should have never started. It would have never started had I been president. There was no chance of this war starting. And frankly, I don't think Putin wanted to do it. I think he was sort of forced in by the statements being made by Biden. And it's something so sad to see, because no matter what happens now, it can never be like it could have been, with nobody dead and with no cities demolished. Because you look at some of these cities, they're absolutely in ashes. This one city, they were flying over it. There was not one building standing. So it should have never, ever happened, but it did happen. With that being said, it can be negotiated, I think, within 24 hours. It really has to be done from the office of the president, and you have to get them both in a room. And there are things you can say to each one of them, which I won't reveal now, which will guarantee that this war will end immediately. And they have to do it, because what's happening is a horror. It's a horror. And far more people are being killed than what they're talking about. You know, they're talking about numbers that are nothing by comparison to what the real numbers are. When they knock down those big apartment houses, and when they knock out cities and they say 2 people died or 3 people were hurt, that's not right. So I think the numbers are far greater. That'll be revealed at a later date. But we have to do something about it. That war has to stop, and it has to.
Russia trying to take down the international system that's been in place since 1648. And certainly the rules-based order that's been in place since the end of the Second World War. There'll be no freedom, there'll be no democracy, there'll be no human rights if China and Russia get their way.
Yeah, it sounds like they're anticipating some sort of war, that they're planning on aligning for that purpose. Are we ready for that?
We're certainly not ready for it. I mean, we're struggling to deal with the Ukraine situation, which is a war already, despite what the Chinese have been saying.
I'd just like to briefly address the presence of the Chinese surveillance balloon in U.S. airspace. I spoke this morning with Director of the CCP Central Foreign Affairs Office, Wang Yi, to convey that in light of China's unacceptable action, I am postponing my planned travel this weekend to China. As you know, President Biden and President Xi agreed during their meetings in Bali in November that I would travel to Beijing to follow up on their discussions. We've been working across the U.S. government to prepare for a substantive set of discussions on issues that matter to the American people and to people around the world. And we've been engaging for some time with our counterparts in Beijing to prepare for these meetings. Yesterday, the Department of Defense announced that we had detected and we're tracking a high-altitude surveillance balloon that remains over the continental United States. We continue to track and monitor the balloon closely. We're confident this is a Chinese surveillance balloon. Once we detected the balloon, the U.S. government acted immediately to protect against the collection of sensitive information. We communicated with the PRC government directly through multiple channels about this issue. Members of my team consulted with our partners in other agencies and in Congress. We also engaged our close allies and partners to inform them of the presence of the surveillance balloon in our airspace. We concluded that conditions were not conducive for a constructive visit at this time. In my call today with Director Wang Yi, I made clear that the presence of this surveillance balloon in U.S. airspace is a clear violation of U.S. sovereignty and international law, that it's an irresponsible act, and that the PRC's decision to take this action on the eve of my planned visit is detrimental to the substantive discussions that we were prepared to have. I told Director Wang that the United States remains committed to diplomatic engagement with China, and that I plan to visit Beijing when conditions allow.
If I become president, you will all live a life you never dreamed of. It's a world that not even science fiction writers have written about. Free energy, free health care at the highest level for everyone, free education, and no taxes for small and medium-sized businesses, and no taxes for individuals. Yes, many people will say it's fantasy and can't be.
Russia imposed sanctions on apartheid South Africa. Here you are violating the rights of black people. They equipped us with weapons. Russia gave us money to fight apartheid. Russia never isolated us. Today, we are here to say to NATO, we are here to say to America, we are not with you.
The next generation will not be as smart and they will not live as long. They know that, and that's what they're working towards. So what I'm saying is, it may be a little depressing to learn how evil these people are. They could have thrown out all those batches that had SV40, could they not? They didn't. They used it right up until the 90s, and they knew that people were going to have an epidemic of cancers. And the cancer industry is a huge, huge industry. Billions and billions of dollars, and have we gotten any closer? No, it's worse. 1 in 2 now. It's worse and worse and worse. Have they cleaned up the environment? No. So between, and they know this. In fact, the DuPonts who made all the Teflon, years and years ago, they had their own organic garden. They wouldn't eat the crap, all the pesticide-ridden food they were putting out there. No. No, no. They know what they are doing. They are not stupid. They think we are. They have nothing but contempt because we believe them. If your kids have had any vaccines, then I've got here, I hate having ain't it awful classes without solutions. So I'm just telling you a couple of things you can do to waylay some of this. Okay, I've got a little menu here. What you have to do to live past this, all right? Vitamin C is so important. Now I'll tell you why. Vitamin C is the only vitamin that humans can't make, but most animals, except for, what are the animals that don't make C? A bat or something?
Guinea pig and bat.
A guinea pig and a bat. But every other animal will manufacture its own vitamin C. Now, vitamin C is an antioxidant that destroys poisons in the body. It's not just for colds. So because we don't make it, we have to take up to 4,000, between 2,000 and 4,000 milligrams of C every day. In the morning, not at night, or it could keep you awake. It's an energy vitamin. Especially, this is not the old days like grandfather lived on a farm, no poison air, no pesticide, no GMO, okay? This is now. Wakey, wakey. We are beating off chemicals every day of our lives. We are breathing in chemtrails. We've got the vaccines, we've got the dirt in the air, we've got the GMO foods, the nanotech. Our bodies are being waylaid by this stuff. So you have to do something about it. You need vitamin A. Your body can store this. So don't take more than, with A, 25,000 units a day. I've done that for years. I was fine. And the other one is beta carotene. That's like vitamin A, but it doesn't stay in your system, so you can take even more. So 25,000 of beta carotene every day after a meal, please. You can't take them on an empty stomach. Take them after your breakfast. Then you need liquid B vitamins, the complex. Liquid, you can get it. Liquid Bs, the whole complex, not just one or two. You can't do that. Liquid Bs every day in your drink at breakfast, and you need Vitamin E is another antioxidant. Now, with vitamin E, please do this. You'll ensure a bit longer time here, unless you're fed up and you want to go. But vitamin E, you have to start with 200 units, okay? And 3 months at 200, then you can go to 400, and then you should end up with 800 units a day. It will oxygenate your cells. Your cells have to have oxygen, and you're fighting off all this crap they're loading on you. And of course, you've got to have the omega oils. Okay, the fish oils. You have to have that. And they have three. They have the 369. You can get this stuff in any health store. Please, get it. And you will see it makes a difference. It does make a difference. And I also get what is called liquid. I get the liquid trace minerals. Liquid trace minerals. Just ask for them. You want a liquid, especially when you're older or you don't absorb them, minerals. You have to do that every day. And instead of eating a lot of crap and fast foods with flour, grease, and sugar, please, sugar is a killer. You want a little bit of honey and tea, fine. But sugar, cancer loves sugar. Cancer thrives on sugar. Remember that. And when you eat white flour, white dough, cakes, dessert, white flour, your body treats it as if it's sugar because it is. It's starch, starch, starch. The only sugar you should have is fresh fruit, maybe a little honey now and then. But you need like 4 or 5 small protein meals. But sugar loves, your body, the cancer just loves sugar. Do not do it. That's what you don't eat that's going to help, okay? I'm not saying don't have your birthday cake, like I'm not a fanatic. And get herbal teas. No, there's herbal teas. Don't take any damn pills. There's herbal teas to help you sleep, for this, that, the other. Just go into the herbal stuff. And don't take any of their goddamn pills because they will hurt you. So that's the story of the vaccine.